Hello my fellow crafters. Today I am going to show you how I make these different head pins that not only add variety to the jewelry that I make, allowing me to stand out from the crowd of other vendors at craft shows, but it also allows me to save money on my materials, giving me the opportunity to offset that savings to my customer to allow them to have something that's different and unique and stands out, but that doesn't cost them an arm and a leg. That's very important, especially if you want to be a vendor. You have to find that cost balance ratio, which can be really hard to do, especially if you're just starting out. Some of them are relatively easy, like beginner easy, and some of them are a little bit more intermediate, but as I go through them, the simpler ones will lead into the more advanced ones. For example, this square one helps you learn how to do this one here, and this round one will help you learn how to do this, which helps learn how to do this, and then this. Now, some of these are standalone head pins that you would just use to hang your bead from, sliding down onto the head pin, which are these ones here. And then these ones here you can use as standalones, or you can use them to be able to dangle another set of beads from below it. So to get started, you are going to need some 20 gauge dead soft wire. Now I use 20 gauge for most of my head pins because it seems to be the most versatile one, allowing me to have durability, but not so large that I can't use most beads for it. You can use an 18 gauge wire, but the problem you're going to run into with that is it's going to limit you on the beads that you can use because the thread holes for a lot of beads are too small for an 18 gauge. Now 22 gauge, those are good for some things. They're really easy to wrap around to make your lollipop, but they're not, say, durable enough for ones like this or this, and you can't put anything heavy on them. And same with 24 gauge. You can use that, but once again, you're running into the stability issue, and you wouldn't be able to use this in particular head pin with a 24 gauge because it'd be too small. Unless you're using really super small seed beads, it would work great for that. Okay, so as mentioned, you're going to need your 20 gauge wire. All right, for your tools, you're going to need your bench block. You will need a chasing hammer, some round nose pliers. I'm using both these and my stepped ones for some of them. Now you don't have to use the stepped ones, I like the consistency of them. Of course, you're going to need your flush cutters, and you'll need some chain nose pliers. You can also use needle nose pliers or precision pliers, but these should do just fine for most of what you're going to be doing. So to get started, you're going to want to straighten out your wires some. And the very first one that we're going to work on is the absolute simplest, and it's very versatile even though it is simple, which is just this one here. And all you have to do for this is make sure to flush cut that end off, and then take your chain nose pliers at the very tip and just turn that down just like that. And then give it a little pinch. Now I did mess up this wire some, but that's okay. Then all you have to do is trim it off, and that's your first head pin. Very extremely simple, very easy, cost effective. It still makes really nice earrings. And for the next one, this is where your chasing hammer is going to come in. Gotta trim off that little end there, make sure it's a nice flush cut, and then just take your chasing hammer, and when you're hammering down, you don't want to just hammer straight down. You want to hammer and pull, and that will help to splay the wire. I'm going to go ahead and trim this off now. And you want to turn it over and do both sides equally. And that little paddle there stops your bead. Now, like I said, this here is going to be for smaller thread holes. You're not going to be able to use really large thread holes for this. Now for the next one, this is a very simple lollipop that you'll be able to use just like you would a jump ring, and open and close it so that you can add more embellishments to the end. Very simple. I'm sure most of you already know how to do this, but we're gonna go over it again just to be on the safe side. Now you can use your round nose pliers, your regular round nose pliers for it. You're gonna flush cut that in there, and then take your pliers, your round nose pliers. I'm using the second one down. As mentioned, you can use your other round nose pliers, and you want to set that down in there so that you cannot feel that there. So it kind of is halfway point, and then just turn your pliers around just like that, so that you have a 9, and then just bend that up so it's right beside that bar. And then you have your next head pin that has a jump ring already built into it. Trim it off. Let's move on to the next one. Now the next one is very similar to the last one that we did, except for this one is going to be basically a closed jump ring. So you're going to want to make your lollipop on this one. You want to come down the wire a little bit and take your precision pliers and just bend it at a 90-degree angle, just like that. And then you're going to want to take your round nose pliers. I'll go ahead and use these ones this time. Find the spot that you want to roll down on, and just roll down halfway so you have that nice little hook right there. And the reason why you want to go halfway is because it comes out nicer if you manually bring the other side around, so then you have more of a lollipop like that. Now for me, I leave the round nose pliers in that spot. When you leave them in that spot, that holds that shape, and then you can take your other pliers and just wrap it around. I do apologize, sometimes I'm at a loss for words. They just don't work for me for some reason. Alright, so then all you have to do is trim that little excess right there. And tap this down. And give her a trim. Now for the next spiral, we're getting just a little bit more advanced. Now to do this, I'm not going to bother flush cutting this. Not yet. Because first I'm going to take my round nose pliers, I'm going to put them at the very end. I'm going to curl this down so that I have a U or almost a P. So it's very well curved like this. Alright, so now I'm going to come in with my flush cutters and I'm going to give it a snip right in there. Maybe. There we go. So now I have a really nice curve started, and that nice curve is going to help me to get more of a round look instead of an oval look. So I bring this around with my round nose pliers first. And you can use these pliers to bring it around. You know, if you have nylon pliers, we'd rather use that, you can. And if you want to use these ones, that's fine, as long as you're really gentle about it. And just bring it around until you're really happy with that spiral. And then all you have to do is take your pliers and put that 90-degree bend in. And go ahead and finish that off. So now you have your nice little spiral. And then we're going to trim this off. Bring your bench block back in. Now you want to give this spiral a little bit of a hammer to work harden it, and this will help prevent it from unspiraling. You don't need to go overboard, just enough to work harden it and keep it shape. So now you have your finished spiral head pin. For the next one, we are going to be working off of that same spiral design and do this teardrop. Believe it or not, this is really easy. Now the same as before, I'm not going to bother flush cutting this just yet. I'm going to put my round nose pliers in there and give it a little turn. And then I'm going to trim that off right where that angle is so that I have a nice curve started. Bring that around. You can do this as much or as little as you'd like. I'm going to bring it to about here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my pliers in and I'm going to press it up against that round part there. And then I'm going to bend down. So I have this angle here. Straighten that up as much as I want. Bring it around with your hand. And you have a nice little teardrop or a leaf, however you want to look at it. And then bend it up right about in the center of it. So you have that right there. And don't worry about being perfect right off the bat. You can straighten it up as you go. We just want to get that main shape in there, and then we'll trim it off and work with it there. Now this is another one that once you have your shape of it and you're done fiddling with it. Now this one definitely looks more like a leaf than a teardrop, but that's okay. Give it a little hammer to help it hold its spot. Anything that you do like this, you definitely have to go back through and hand hammer, especially if you're using a 20 gauge plier or smaller, and especially if it's dead soft. So now it's going to hold its shape nice because of that work hardening. And like I said, you can actually hang a charm or embellishment down from here if you really want to, or you can leave it as a standalone piece. Now moving on to the heart. This is basically the same exact concept as the last one, a little extra step. So to make the heart shape, first we're going to have to get that spiral going. So you want to bring that down. Got your J shape again. I should say it's more of a P, but trim that off so you have that nice little curve started. And go ahead and start to make that spiral, which will give you the hump of the one side of the heart. Now, I said if you're using nylon pliers, you can be a little rougher at this point, but if you're not, please be careful. Don't over squeeze, just hold it in place. You're going to want to roll it until you get that little bump of the heart the size you want. I'm going to leave mine about there, and I'm going to bring in my needle or my round nose pliers and bend it up just like we did before with the other one. But then I'm going to bring them in here, and I'm going to bring that wire pretty much all the way down and bring it around just like that. So that your heart now looks like this here. I'm going to go ahead and trim this off so I don't have it on the spool. This is going to give me too much wire, but that's okay. I can use the excess for something else. So now flip it over to what is the back, and you're going to want to put your round nose pliers right in that area and hold on to this wire here, and then just bring it up. So now it looks like that. You may find it easier to work with your hands a little bit on this one. I said this one's a little bit more advanced. Now this one here, there's the only way you can really work harden it without pinching the wire and potentially damaging it is just to work harden this surface right here. So to do that, we'll just bring your hammer in real gentle, because you don't really want to squish the wire, and you don't want to risk squishing this part. And that helps hold it into place just like that. Straighten that out some. So now we have our little heart head pin. And this here you can actually use to make into bracelet links if you really want to. The biggest problem I have with that is I'm terrified that somebody's gonna get it caught on something while they're working and this spiral is gonna come out. With the earrings, you don't have to worry quite so much. Unless they have like really long hair or something like that, then it can be a little bit more of a concern, but all right, 2 more head pins to go. Now this square here, believe it or not, is really easy. I should say diamond. You're gonna wanna give yourself a nice flush cut to work with, and then just bring in whatever size pliers that you want to use for this and set your wire up to the edge wherever you want it on your pliers. For me, it's going to be right there. I'm just going to bend it down at a 90-degree angle just like that. And then I'm going to repeat that process all the way around. Now this one does take a little bit of fiddling to get it exactly where you want it to. But the more you make them, the easier it is. You just work your way all the way around until you get to where it looks like this. And then just pop it up into that 90 degree. I should say that's more of a 25 degree, but still. Yeah, this you are going to want to work hard in this one also. Now you can use this as a standalone, or you can use this basically as a jump ring. And you're good to go on that one. Now the very last one, this is one of those pieces that no matter how many times you do it, you're not going to get 100% matching set unless you're absolutely amazing, to be honest. Better than me, that's for sure. And you're going to start the same way you started the other one, and just make your square. Just like that, but instead of turning it upwards, we're going to stick our pliers right down beside the loop here. All right, so we got our pliers in this area here, and we're going to turn there, and that acts kind of as a hallway. And just keep doing that until you get the size that you want. Now I'm going to bring this into this point, and once it's to the size I want, which is this here, I'm going to take my pliers and try to get that halfway point the best I can and bend it up. Like I said, it's not going to be perfect. That's okay, because it's art. Just try to remember, it's art, and art is purely conceptual, or according to your own perceptions. Not everybody has to like every single thing that you do, but every single piece that you have will definitely find somebody that appreciates it for what it is. So now I have my 2 square or rectangle head pins. This is definitely not something that you see every single jewelry vendor doing, so it's something different that you can add to your own items if you would like to. Thank you again for joining me today. I hope that I was able to help you to be inspired to add some different things to your jewelry working. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, please leave them down below. I'd be happy to hear from you. If you found today's tutorial at all helpful and are interested in joining me as I make other pieces of jewelry, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so that you can be alerted when I do have another video out. Next week, I believe I will be making some different types of ear hooks if you're interested to see how I do that. Thank you, and I hope to see you soon.